Lord, I can't change. Won't you fly free bird, yeah.
Coming on this podcast, just a man doing the best he can with what he got. And this week, I have a discussion with my friend ALA about my podcast on black development and using black churches in order to build wealth in America for the black community. So we're going to get her thoughts on that. But before we talk about that, just a real quick segment. The government is still shut down right now. And a federal judge said the Trump administration has to disseminate contingency SNAP funds, but they're refusing to do it until the government is shut down. Now, just going to be honest with you guys. On principle, I am against government shutdowns because I believe that if you're in government, you're working in government, at the bare minimum, you should be able to keep government open. Like, I don't see how the government can shut down and you claim you're doing your job. But in this case, they're not able to get the government open. And the key issue is premiums, healthcare premiums going up and loss of subsidies in the ACA. That's the line of saying Democrats have drawn and said, hey, man, premiums are going to go up. Republicans are saying, unfactually, by the way, that, hey, they're against that provision and subsidies because that money is going to go to illegal aliens, which is the dog whistle word right now. And I'm just asking you guys, like, anybody who is looking at this and not just saying it's all stupid, I just got to ask you, what do you think your money is going to? Like I said, where do you think your money is going to? Because right now, on the right, if you hear illegal aliens, then you will let these folks do whatever it is they want to do. When this doesn't make any sense. Right now, the Trump administration is giving Argentina $40 billion. $40 billion in a bailout while telling you that they can't give money to you because if they give money to you to get your health insurance lower, some of that is going to go to illegal aliens. How can you keep falling for this, guys? Is my question. How can you keep falling for this game? You can benefit from these subsidies. Your health insurance can go down. But because there may be a chance, unfactually, by the way, that somebody undocumented may get some funds to help them too, you're willing to do without. The ultimate question is, okay, if some undocumented immigrants get maybe 10% of the pie, are you willing to throw away that other 90%? And a lot of y'all are like, yeah, I will suffer just to make sure those people over there don't benefit at all. Self-sabotaging, I don't get it. Because not once in this whole squabble and debate have I heard Republicans say, hey, your health insurance price won't go down if we leave this provision in the ACA. That's not the argument. The argument is people over there are also going to benefit, so you should do without, so those people over there don't benefit. All while, once again, giving $40 billion to Argentina. Make it make sense. Giving damn near $1 trillion to Israel. Make it make sense. And another funny thing that's going on, all while this is happening, on Truth Social, Donald Trump said that, hey, he wants to give every American a $2,000 rebate from tariff revenues. $2,000 he wants to give every American, exempting the high income earners, which I have to look at his plan and see what high income is. But I have to assume high income may be $250,000 or more a year. But let's just say everybody gets $2,000. If you've listened to any of my previous podcasts about President Trump, you will hear me give him credit for the tariffs because we have a national deficit. Last time I checked, it was like $36 trillion. in debt we are. And the only way to kill a deficit is by getting more money coming in or spending less. Right now, the biggest burden in our country isn't like SNAP benefits and welfare programs. It's literally our military industrial complex, the money we spend on the military and old people. Those are the two biggest burdens on our economy and our budget. It's paying for old folks who are living longer and military weapons. That's the strain on the economy. So, in order to bring more revenue in, you're going to have to tax people. He was able to tax people by framing this tax as not a tax, calling it tariffs. But ultimately, all Americans are paying for that, which are inflationary in nature. So inflation has rose because of these tariffs, but he did bring more revenue in. Now, here's the thing. I'm actually okay with that if you use that money to pay down the deficit. But you can't pay down the deficit if you're giving every American $2,000. What's the point of this? And not to mention, tariffs are inflationary. On average, because of these tariffs and their inflationary measures, inflation has risen 1.5% this year. So on average, every American is spending $1,500 more than they did last year. So it's a circle. Dude saying he's going to give you $2,000 is literally a rebate on the money that you're paying already. So you're $500 up if you do the math. As of now. But tariffs are still going on and prices are still going up. So basically, he's going to give you back the money that you're spending. You're spending damn near close to $2,000 more this year than last year because of his policies. And he's going to give you that $2,000 back. And a lot of you idiots ain't going to do the math. Y'all going to be like, hell yeah, he gave me money. But I'm asking the question, where is your money going? What are you willing to spend your money on? I've been having a discussion with a bunch of conservatives. Me and my homie Max, actually. Friend of the show, Max. Shout out to him. And generally, we don't do a lot of these discussions because a lot of people online don't have their facts straight. They don't. They just want to argue and say stuff. But every once in a while, we will get in discussions and we will drop logics just to see what people are going to say. And just as we thought, contradiction after contradiction. But ultimately, I found out this is because these folks are angry. They're angry. The only thing they have is anger. Anger makes these folks feel alive. So it doesn't matter if the argument is not rational. It doesn't matter if their guy is spinning like a drunken sailor. It doesn't matter if they're going to hurt. If they can just watch somebody over there hurt while they're hurting, they're happy. Like, everything right now in America is predicated on pain. How much pain you can give and how uncomfortable you can make it for other people. It really is. And all while this is going on, I'm just like, all right, cool, guys. If you don't want your bill to be lower because you're scared that somebody over there bill may be lower too, all right, you get what you deserve. And that's what we're getting. We're definitely getting what we deserve. All right, that's the end of my rant. Let's go listen to what the homie ALA had to say about last week's segment on Black churches starting an endowment. If you haven't heard that, go back and listen to that podcast. It's on this thread, and give me your thoughts on it. And once again, I'm not saying my plan that I came up with is foolproof and bulletproof. I am welcoming challenges to it. If you have a way to make that plan better, make it better. And that's for anybody. Even though this plan helps Black Americans, if you're a white listener listening to this, hey, if you know a way to make this better, let me know. Because once again, Black Americans are Americans. And if you want to see prosperity, the baseline prosperity in Americans rise, then yeah, you're going to have to help out Black Americans. Because of systemic problems, I ain't gonna say the R word, but because of systemic problems, we're behind the 8 ball and we have been left behind, and our starting block is farther than most Americans. Like, most Americans have a head start. Even the ones immigrating have a head start over us. So if you want the overall quality of America to rise, we're going to have to help out Black Americans. So if you're white and you're listening to this and you can think of a way to help, hey, help. No harm, no foul, no shade, help. Right? Because a lot of times, a lot of my white counterparts can name all the negative things about Black culture and Black people, but never can name anything positive. And I think that's by design. And if you can name all the negative things and crime rates, then hey, you should be able to help with a plan to make things better in the Black community. All right, that's my spiel. Let's holler at the homie ALA.
I feel like learning about the economy and getting financially literate is the next step, but the kind of denied step for the Black community. And I feel like your podcast really hammered into some weaknesses of the church because of our under education on those business models, because it's a business, like church is a business, but we don't really want to own that for real, because that would also mean that you're also the money changers that Jesus flipped the table for. So like, there's a lot of, it's just, I feel like people who are deconstructing their Christianity are just really seeing these blatant like signs and issues of why it can't get any better and how people are in their own fucking way about it, if that makes sense.
So it's funny because I came up with this a year ago, this plan. And I'm not saying I'm the first person, the only person to come up with this plan, but I got to ask myself, like, why isn't the Black community doing better? And we keep on talking about like, hey, man, we all need to come together, but what does come together look like? And what are we going to do? And as I'm not a religious person, I'm like, but hey, this is a mechanism we got to really gain wealth in America, but we're not just utilizing it properly. And then I got to thinking, man, like, where is the money going for Black people? Like, where are we putting our money? And you know you're going to need housing, food, utilities. That's a must. But I've always noticed people sacrificing to pay that 10% to God, right? God always got the 10%. And that's something they did. Like, no matter what, always pay that 10%. And I'm like, okay, that's 10% you could just be saving for your family and your needs. So then it goes back to, why are we spending so much? And it's a bunch of things that I'm just working out in my head, but I'm just like, we know financial literacy is our problem. We know, but not our only problem, but that's one leg of the stool. We have no financial literacy.
Yeah.
Why are we not getting it? And why isn't somebody coming up and saying, hey, this is what you need to be doing? Or maybe it's happening, I don't know. And that's nothing. Maybe this is happening and I'm behind the loop.
Well, we have to ask the question if this model is something that, say, white churches might be practicing, or if some do already. Because I have, as someone who has never subscribed to a church, I was always taught to, it's going to get a little woo-woo for a second, but my mama always said, go to where the Spirit's at. So like you can kind of tell if a church is really locked into what they're saying or not. And I would kind of sit in that spot for a minute and be like, yeah, nah, I'm good. And then leave and go find another flock. That's how I've always done it. And people might be against that, but I feel like you're supposed to tap into all parts of the body of Christ. So what are we all doing? Like, I'm just trying to, and that includes white and Black churches. Of course, the most segregated hour of the day is noon on a Sunday. This is still very true. And as a Black woman who, for some people say is light skinned, I get to kind of cross that weird narrow line. And I've noticed how in the Black churches, it's more of a begging time, a time of coming to Christ and being like, I'm letting these sins go. I'm dropping the drugs. I'm coming to Jesus. And it's just like, but everyone around them is struggling just as hard as they are. And I'm just like, this church ain't even going to be open that much longer. Like I can tell the deacon's half dead, like not to be mean, but like some of the churches are getting too old as well. Like these people don't want to learn about a new type of literacy. They barely read above the second or third grade level. So And I'm saying that as an educator. Like, I'm inside now looking at it, being like, how can we teach our people to be financially literate if what they're reading, even, they're not fully comprehending? It's like, shit, like, I can't, how do we put this in pictures even? Like, okay, how do we simplify it even more? The disorganization within our Black churches is part of our downfall, which is, I think, still part of how we've moved in the States. Like, we're not really allowed that kind of growth. These mega churches, even the Black pastors there, like, they're just still subscribing to the get the jet, get the more stuff. Like, it's, I don't know. I'm sitting in a really weird position being like, I don't even think church is where it's at. Like, fuck churchianity. I don't think these people are following Christ at all. But people aren't listening to me. I'm just the Black teacher with colorful hair teaching art. Like, so I don't know. My whole existence right now feels like I'm anti everything. And yet a very anti-Christ-like figure is leading the country. And here I am going, okay, well, it's a Tuesday. What are we having for dinner? Like, I don't know. It's such a weird existence to be in right now, if that makes sense.
Well, one thing that made me come up with this plan, and I would say this, two folds. First, I think our Black churches focus too much on the struggle, and we look at struggling as a badge of honor, and Black Americans have made struggling cool. And it's to the point that people think we like suffering. They think that that's part of the Black condition, suffering. Like, of course they're going to suffer because they like suffering. That's what they like doing. And look how cool they make suffering look. Hey, man, they're going to suffer. That's how we got those Negro spirituals. And that music slaps hard because of the suffering, the pain. And we kind of like lift that up like, yo, if you just suffer and sacrifice all throughout your life on earth, don't worry. In heaven, you're going to get your reward. As I get older and I look at other communities, even like Black communities outside of America, I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to be. We're getting exploited. And you can't tell me that you can have your heaven on earth and my communities have to suffer, because that's the natural balance.
I think what you're saying has a lot of weight, though. I feel like if our God is suffering, then it's going to show. And it's again, such a weird line to tote, because I grew up being Christian and now I tell people I'm deconstructing, because I'm like, I don't like how y'all are doing it. Like, I thought, and again, I'm not supposed to judge others. I'm not supposed to do that either, but I'm kind of like, but if you're holding up flames and burning yourselves and then being like, and y'all know the answer, and now I'm cruel for walking away. It's a lot of conflicting feelings. I'm like, y'all literally set your own flames, sit in them, and then blame us for not screaming loud enough, not telling you loud enough. And even though we're talking to you and telling you, you dismiss, you disown, you give me a scripture that says this was justified. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to shut the fuck up then and go take it up with God by myself, because that's what y'all keep telling me to go do. And then I feel like, in my own way, of course, prosperity becomes an issue within churches. That's why mega churches really grind my gears. Because if you're hoarding that much wealth and have that much space for people to sit and watch your sermon, but then don't have that space for them to hide away during storms, what the fuck is the space for? And then I'm weird for asking the question. So it's just like, oh, okay, well, so I don't know. It's such a weird line that is racially drawn between our churches, because I think that white churches might have access to that financial information. Most of the whiter churches I've been to have it together for the most part, modestly speaking. I won't say a whole lot there because I haven't visited a ton of churches in the last couple years since being back, but they typically have a certain orderliness that I haven't seen in the Black church. And I'm giving myself the space to compare because I've looked at them. The business model is not there in the Black church. They're like barely holding it together. And if pastor, again, is halfway out the door or halfway in the grave, when he goes, I don't know who's replacing him, but it's no one in the congregation. So I'm just like, this is a dead end. This is a road to destruction. And we're supposed to be acting like what worship is. If we worship loud enough, like our Savior will come. I'm like, anyway, let me stop, because I know I'm offending some people, but also feel offended. Like, it's time for you to feel offended. Like, it's time. Like, if you haven't felt offended by shit going on in our country, and this is it, then I guess welcome to the anger. Because like we've been angry for a while, at least I have. But yeah, I have to get up and go to work and educate and try and give students hope. And it's a lot. So that's why like it's time to like kind of even balance in that work-life balance again for myself. And that's just from a personal standpoint. That's church for me. So anyone can say that if they want to, but that's where I'm sitting. Again, I'm kind of just running in circles.
But no, that's the point though. Like nobody's coming to save you.
Okay.
Like nobody is coming to save you. And it's just always this notion of the savior is coming. Just keep on holding on. But nobody's coming, man. They're not coming. Like you are who needs to save you. And that's my whole problem with the Black church. It's like, man, if you just keep on suffering, the savior is coming. No, he ain't. He ain't coming, dog.
Like have you noticed a couple of little fad moments of people being like, Jesus is coming on this date, or like people thinking the rapture is coming? And it's like, I need y'all to stop thinking that that you can just guess the time. Also, biblically, it says that we can't, but y'all keep doing it anyway. But whatever, let's just ignore that. But stop thinking he's gonna come save you at that time, because our appointed time ain't that appointed time. So stop trying. Like it just grow.
And I had this discussion with somebody, and I asked them, could it be that maybe the Bible was written for that time and is not meant to be taken literally? Maybe it's just guidance so you can live through your time, but understanding that doesn't apply to you because time is different. Do you not think things change or God could change things? Like, is it just this and this is how it has to go?
No, hold on now. Lord is the same every day, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Now you can't be saying things.
But it's funny, right? Because like when you bring up like the kind of contradictions of the Old Testament, which you're supposed to be on the New Law anyway, like, yo, slavery meant something different back then. Y'all can't use that. I'm like, wait. I thought you said the words didn't change, right? I believe, this is me personally, I'm not putting my beliefs on you, but I believe the Bible is a book of allegories that you can use, not to be taken literally. And if I'm to believe that there is 5 different versions of Cat in the Hat, I can't happen to think that, hey, a book that was written in Aramaic, translated to Greek, into Hebrew, and then to English, didn't get changed along the way, and then was given to Black people as slaves. It wasn't changed. Like, we got evidence of this. So I look at this and I'm just like, guys, maybe we shouldn't take this too literally. But then it goes to the fact like, yo, Black wealth. We need money. We know we need money. The white business model for churches, because I worked at a white mega church too. So I can say this, the white business model and the Black business model is totally different, as my camera slides off. It's totally different. White people are more like, hey, man, let's come in here and have a joyous time. Black people are more like, hey, man, we know you're suffering. Let me make you a little better to get through the next week and come back in Sunday to feel better. But we got to stop that, man. Like, what we do can't be what white churches do because we're not on the same level. What really got me to thinking about this is nobody has anything positive to say about Black people in America. There's never anything positive. Like, you can't find all these people who will tell you about the Black on Black crime rate and the murder rate and the percentage per capita and Black 14% of the population do 50%. They never have anything positive to say. Like, they'll tell you about Chicago, tell you about Baltimore, tell you about Memphis. Oh, Black people run them up. And I got to thinking, man, why isn't anything positive? And if it's positive, you know what it is? Sports and music. That's it. Like, you don't hear about Black lawyers, Black doctors, people doing enrichment. It's just sports, music, and murder. So that's what got me to think about this. Like, we can't act like them. It's different. Race is used to separate us in every aspect of America. So we can't apply the same principles because it ain't the same, man. I had this discussion with a white friend of mine this week, and he was like, man, you shouldn't think that way. I'm like, here's the problem, man. As a white man, you feel like there's nowhere you can't go. As a Black man, I know there's places I can't go. I know where the wall is at. Like, I am told every day where I can't go, what I can't do, and how to stay in my place. But as a white man, I don't expect you to get what I'm going through because you're like, yeah, of course I can go anywhere.
And I deal with it as well. It's just that mine is different, of course, and I'm on a different playing field because I am a teacher still. And I am in the arts now. I don't know if I've really said it clearly, but I've gone from teaching the littles to now teaching middle school and upwards of like young 20-year-olds tap into art within a time of transition or probation. Just put the story wherever you wish. But it has been a very eye-opening first 3-4 months because it's been a sudden, very quick transition this year. I'm dealing with students who are dealing with stuff going on with the administration. Second language learners of English, like it's so much in this boat. And I'm just like, wow, this is a whole section of our country that people want to ignore. And I have to look at it every day. And it's really strange because, again, there's people with their full chest out, 10 toes down, being like, these are criminals, these are this, these are that, giving them labels just so they can dehumanize them before they can hear the actual story. But you'll sit in the fucking church and listen to the testimony like, okay. Like, so the frustration I'm feeling with the lack of really actual wish to change in this country, again, a pill we're meant to swallow repeatedly, but then we get to watch it touch others. Like, this is supposed to be the land of the free. We're supposed to have religious freedom. We're supposed to have all these freedoms. And I'm just like, for who? Y'all keep really labeling who these freedoms are for specific peoples. And if you're a certain color, you don't pass the people's test. The brown paper bag still exists. Like, stop fucking around with me. Like, stop playing in our face. Like,
I mean, Supreme Court just said racial profiling is actually allowed in trying to deport people, right? So
that part.
This is why I don't debate DEI, voters' rights, or racism anymore. Like, in a country where they just told me, hey, man, you can racially profile to find out if you are, quote unquote, illegal. And in a country where I just saw in February Nazis march down the street, you can't tell me racism doesn't exist. Like, I'm not debating with you. This is non-debatable. I see Nazis. You told me, hey, man, if you're brown, I can question you. What are we arguing about? Like, this debate culture, hey, man, I got to get my point. No, we can't talk like that. We have nothing to talk about. And furthermore, as a Black person, I'm done explaining myself in certain things. Like, nah, now you figure it out, buddy.
And I think that's what's frustrating to them because, like, we've been screaming into the void for years. And I think now they feel like they're screaming into the void. And it's just so unfair and boohoo. And it's just like, little bitch, I need you to literally go figure it out in a corner, because when we needed you to hear us, you repeatedly and willfully did not listen. Like, he who has ears, let him hear. Well, nigga, you can't hear us. So we're going to stop talking. And now it feels like y'all are screaming into a void because we don't want to pick up the candlestick with you. Like, we're tired of getting burnt. Go burn yourself. Like, self-harm is real. And holding on to them while they're trying to figure it out is not the plan right now. That's why we're not out marching while everyone else is marching. That's why we're staying our ass at home and trying to hold our dollars and figure out where our money should go, which should be our community. And in turn, if our church could turn our ways, quote unquote, Black church, into like a community outreach instead, maybe stop labeling them as churches. Maybe they should just be community centers. Like, I don't know, but the church itself as it is perhaps should die and maybe should just become a new name altogether, like a just fellowship hall. I don't know. I'm just spitting here, but I just kind of feel like a knife needs to go in and it needs to not come out. And the Black church might be going down. And I'm okay if somebody's mad about that.
It's the Christianity part that's killing me about this, right? I feel like if we remove the Christianity, then we could see this for what it is, a wealth building mechanism. And that's my plan. I'm like, as a non-religious person, I'm saying, hey, we should use the church because that's where the money's at. The money is there. $2 to $19 billion a year is going into Black churches. So what are you getting now? You're telling me, man, here is a mechanism where $2 billion is there. No matter what, people are putting in that 10% and you're getting $2 billion a year collectively. Why is that not a wealth building plan? And look, I know you're a building and you're a business as a church. That's why I said, hey, man, get an endowment, get a full endowment, invest principal. If you got $1 million, which you can get, and I had a person tell me, man, Marcus, the flaw in your plan is that they're not getting any money. I'm like, look, I say it first in there, adjust it for your community. In Memphis right now, the average salary is $45,000 a year. If you are a church of 100, which I know many churches with more than 100 members, if you are a church of 100 and you're getting 10% from each member on average, that's $450,000 a year that you're pulling in. Now, the church is only open on Sundays, so you're not spending that much on utilities. I know you got rent that you got to pay, but you can't tell me out of 100 members within 10 years, you can't have a principal of $1 million or $2 million to run that church. Like, we got to stop thinking about this in the sense of like spirituality, man. Like, yo, just start building. Harvard has an endowment. They making money. That's why Harvard don't give a damn. Because it, man, we're cool. Oh, what? You want to do that? Oh, we're going to fight this. Because they got their own money. Us, we still here begging when we got a wealth building mechanism.
So this is where we go to church again, because I really did appreciate about your podcast that you brought scripture into it. Can be triggering for some people because they're like, I don't understand what you mean. It's like, well, okay, let's go. Fine. Let's open the book then. Damn. Okay. So right here. So in the book of Matthew, there's a parable about, and I'm saying parable very clearly here because sometimes people don't understand shit unless it's a riddle. But in this case, in this parable, this master gives out talents to 3 different servants. One of them like doubles his shit. The middle one kind of does a little mediocre job, but does something. And then the last one don't do shit, just buries it and hides it because he's scared. All of them are awarded according to their ability. So the first one gets a whole bunch of like wealth based on their, multiplication. Good job. The middle one, okay, according to your ability, you get this. And the last one gets berated and punished because they did shit nothing because they were too scared. I feel like a lot of churches are operating under that one. There's hoarding of wealth, if anything, but I also don't know if the spending is going the way it should be. Like that transparency you were talking about, I only saw that in churches I went to in Japan. Mm-hmm. And those were, groundwork trying to find new Christian churches who were like, this is where your money is going. If you ever join our organization, I want to know what's going on. This is being planted here. This is how much is sitting here. And I'm just like, wow, how come I never saw this until I came across C's? Like it was. So that transparency is huge because I do think money ain't moving in the church like the way it should be. And because there's no accountability there, who's asking Pastor where it's going? Like Pastor could be buying hookahs, like, and we don't know. Okay, I'll stop.
No, don't keep going because that's the point, right? You need to demand to have a list of activities that your money is going to. If I'm giving you my 10%, I hope people just don't think that's going to God. I hope you don't think when you pay your 10% in tithes that is going to God and God is coming down and saying, hey, thank you guys, appreciate that. It ain't. It's going to the ministry. So then I ask myself, what are you trying to do? Most churches, even the ones that have community centers, they're closed off to the public. You have to be a member in order to join that community center. And here's the thing. I'm actually with you on that. Cool, because you can't just have everybody going in there. You don't know their purposes. But if you're going to take them folks' money, they should be getting something back quarterly.
Yeah.
Or I should at least know where my money went. If my money went to rent, all right, show me the lease. Show me the mortgage. All right, how much this building costs? So I can do the math. And maybe I don't get it, but I need the transparency. Okay, which is why I say get an endowment. Like once you get an endowment, you become a self-funding mechanism. And I know like my plan probably got some holes in it. Somebody can refine it. Cool, refine it. Refine it. Do that. Like find the holes. But nobody's doing nothing. But how we're going right now as Black people is unsustainable. Because once again, nobody's coming to save us, guys. They're not. We're here. And if we don't do nothing, 20 years from now, we're still going to be here complaining, talking about, well, nothing's happening. Like, yo, should we get reparations? Yes. Are they going to give it to us? Probably not. Where's the money? The money is in the church. It ain't the only plan I got. But I'm like, yo, $2 to $19 billion, guys. It's time for us to do an audit. Where's this money going? If you If you got a mega church and you don't own the real estate around there, I'm calling shenanigans. Because we got food insecurity. People are wondering right now what they're going to do for their next meal. If you a mega church and any of your members are wondering what they're going to do for their next meal, I'm calling shenanigans. You're not doing your job. Like, yo, you got to worry about your next meal. Furthermore, I would say quarterly groceries should be given out through churches. That's mission outreach. Like, if you are an endowment, I know you can't act like a bank. You can't give dividends, but you can do mission work. And part of that mission work can be food sustainability. Like, yo, it could be like, yo, school clothes. It could be financial literacy courses. I don't know why every church doesn't have a financial literacy course, because more than one thing can be true. And a lot of the flaws I've seen in Black churches is like people using tithes as a scratch-off ticket. Like, hey, man, they told me if I give, it will come back to me. Pressed down, shaking together, and running over, right? They tell you that, like, so if you give, it will come back to you. And it's like,
I know that exact song you're singing too. Praise him.
Right? But it trains you to think that, okay, well, I'm in a hard time. So if I just keep on giving, eventually the money's going to come back. And I'm like, no, it's not how money works.
Why you singing it and saying it like we was brainwashed?
Because we were. All right. That's the thing. We were brainwashed into thinking, hey, man, that's how money works. And that's not how economics and money work. So we got to start pulling back the veil and say, hey, man, yeah, you're going to have to spend less than you make. If you made $30,000, 50% of your income can't go to your rent. Or, hey, you got a mortgage. Maybe you can't afford this house. We're going to start saying that, like, look, this is what's going in, because, hey, we can be a blessing to you right now, but the church can't keep on paying your bills, dog. Like, yo, maybe you guys need to be better at spending your money. But where can we get that information out to everybody? And look, the church has to be one of those factors, in my opinion.
And again, if that's the case, then we still have to go further and make sure that literary competency is there. It's like very, very clear that America's reading level is like maybe fifth grade. Like I'm being so dead. It's probably lower. I'm trying to be nice. But like that one show that used to be on, like, are you smarter than a fifth grader? Like they were quietly trying to clock us in on some stuff because those students were a bit advanced. That wasn't shit I was being asked in fifth grade either. And I'm in my 30s now. So it's like, so again, things are being dumbed down, watered down, made easier to swallow, and done so much so that you can tell that no one is getting the meat of the messages anymore. Because again, if people need riddles and parables to understand the deeper meanings of what is in a Bible that they keep saying that we should be reading, then I should be seeing more people operating under that spirit. And I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I definitely saw more Christian-like behavior sometimes in Japan, and people there don't believe in nothing. So I'm just like, wait a second. Let me clutch my pearls real quick.
So it's so funny, right? Pope Frank,
what?
Who's my favorite Pope. Pope Francis, the guy who just passed away. Mm-hmm. I love that guy because he said, I mean, of course, an atheist can get into heaven. If his works are good, if he has a good heart, and he lives by Christian principles. I think we get so caught up in the pageantry, the menagerie of it all, to the point we forget the works. And that's one thing that, like, America can't tell me no more. You're not a Christian nation, America. No. We're not a nation of Christians. Like,
absolutely not. Pagan, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Fascist, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Christian nationalists, right? Because like all this Christianity is used just to say, hey, man, if I'm white, I'm better than you. In so many ways. Like that's what it's being used for right now. But we're not a Christian nation. We got to stop that, dog. Like we got a guy right now who's a convicted rapist as president. So we have
release the files.
Who hung around a sex trafficker. Everybody pro-life. Everybody, we got to protect the kids. Until
like again, like you said in your podcast about the crimes, right? Like we're murderers, okay? I'm gonna say the thing. We're murderers. Black people are murderers. I guess I murdered somebody. I lost count, but we're murderers. We kill people. That's the thing we do. And meanwhile, a whole bunch of heinous fraud, incest, pedophilia is going on. And I'm just like, I get kind of tired of the fact that I'm a killer when I'm not is always used as the kind of, hey, look over here, while we keep terrorizing youths. And I've heard it said before, like Republicans say they're pro-life, we love kids, and it's like, okay, well then, like, let's feed them, let's help them, let's make sure they go to school, that they're able, that they have a place to sleep. No, we love kids. It's like, well, no, let's make sure they have school supplies and this and that. And it's like, no, we love kids. It's like, oh, okay, like touching them and doing things to them, not actually helping them. Gotcha. Like we hear that message, but we're out of pocket for saying so.
I mean, statistically, if you look at the numbers, they want more kids so they can diddle them. If you look at the numbers.
I mean, look at the ages trying to be lowered for like marriage. Like they're still trying to come back to, we want to marry kids. Like we want to make sure that it's legal for us to do this to children, since we're not going to do real like time for actually doing it either. Like we just like to not do any time at all and just put it into law, because then we can just do it. But we're doing it anyway. Like, anyway.
I mean, people got mad at me about that part because like Mark is always making it about race, but I'm like, no. Because you're always hit with the, hey man, 14% of the population do 50% of the murders. Then I ask people like, how many murders were done last year? They never can tell me. But when you do the math, that literally, even if that number is fake, by the way, but even you go by 50% of the murders, that only equals out to less than 2% of the Black population. Less than 2%. But nobody talks about that part, right? But then I ask myself, why do y'all stop there? Like, murder ain't the only heinous crimes. It ain't. But when you start looking at those crimes, Black people are not number one. So those crimes don't exist. So that's why I always say, if we can find out a way to get the white crime rate numbers and get the Black crime rate down to the white crime rates, crime magically disappears. Because nobody can ever tell me how many murders white people do. It's only Black people. It's like, oh man, Black on Black crime is a problem. Okay. What about white on Black crime? What about white on white crime? What about Asian on Black crime, Black on Asian? Nobody can give you those numbers. So it's just telling that everybody just wants to talk about Black people, because Black people have a unique space in America of making every other race in America feel better about themselves. Which goes back to my point. You can't say anything positive about Black people. You're not conditioned to think about that. I always challenge everybody. Okay, you gave me all those crime stats, all those statistics about Black crime. Now tell me something good about Black people. And it only comes back to music or sports. That's it. Like, they got people more worried about the National Guard coming to Memphis because it's a crime wave, and they're never coming to Memphis. So I keep asking, okay, we got the National Guard here, task force, everything's good now. What's the next step? Are you coming to invest in Memphis? Are you going to spend your money in these Black neighborhoods? Are we going to start building up infrastructure? No. You just want to talk about Black people. You want to say, hey, oh my God, it's so bad. Look at them. At least we're not Black. And that's the condition of America. At least I'm not Black, which is slowly coming to, at least you're not Mexican.
Yeah, that shift is happening where it's like, oh, the criminals are being taken out. And it's like, these are our neighbors who have literally been here for 10s and 20s of years, who have been waiting for visas and being patient with the system. Like, these are, okay. Love your neighbor though, okay.
I had an argument with somebody about crossing the border. That's a civil offense. That's not a criminal offense. And it's like, no, but it's a crime and they should be locked up. I'm like, okay, so you break any law, that's a crime, you should be locked up. Yeah, like, so you get a speeding ticket, you should be locked up, right? No, that's going too far. No, you just said, if I commit a crime, you should be locked up. That's why we have civil and criminal statutes, which means, you know what I should want? Hey man, give me back taxes. Give me the money. But 9 out of 10, which is a wink, wink, we know that a majority of our economy is based on exploiting people from other countries. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that if we exploit these people, depress their wages, it makes products cheaper here so we can sell it and be competitive with China. Let's just pull the veil off and start pretending like we really care, which goes back to like why Black people are not out here marching. I know for a fact, for the last 3 years, I've been screaming this same shit over and over. I have been out there marching. I got pictures to prove it. I've been protesting. I've said it on this damn podcast. Bro, I'm not finna be out here saying the same thing over and over. Cool, you chose, guys. I'm gonna ride it out. And I think part of the problem is, man, you're not gonna take my joy either. During this rough time, we know how to, in the midst of suffering, still have joy. And that's what the church used to be, right? It used to be, hey, man, let's all get together. We're gonna make it through. I mean, you see that now. You're not gonna take my joy. You asked for this. This is what's happening. Cool. Matter of fact, if you want no snap, all right, I'm gonna tell you why I think we should have it, but burn it all down. But while we doing that, man, make sure, since it's socialism, we get rid of Social Security, the police officers, the fire department, these damn public roads. Let's get rid of all these damn subsidies. Elon Musk don't need no more money. The oil company don't need no more money because we're a straight up capitalist society. But anyway.
Won't you fly free bird, yeah. Lord, I can't change.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to ask you that. Did you see any problems with what I said in the podcast?
I felt like it had sound structure to it, but that's also where, again, I'm pretty new to some of this as well, because investing is just now something I'm getting into. I just now got a 401k in like the last 2 years or so. And so I'm learning how to navigate these new terminologies and stuff. And I'm an educated person in my specialties, but this one's new for me. So I'm just like, okay, no, this is where I have to own my own weakness and be like, okay, if I'm ready to actually make this financial leap, and I got to start being curious about this shit. So I really liked what you proposed. Again, it made me think about whether white churches were already doing it. But I don't really have an answer to that question. I wish I did. But I have had churches that I've donated to or sent a tithe to or something when I felt led to send me back something that I could file with my taxes. So there are ways that they're trying to make sure you get a little portion of your money back. Some churches, at least. I couldn't speak for all of them. So there is some sort of portion or group of people in their way who are trying to find a way to give back to their donors or members or whatever. But it's not consistent. And within the Black community, the prayer, if they could unite in that sort of way, is that it could be withheld and let to grow. Because again, when we unite in such a way and it starts popping and it looking like it's fire, and then we bring our joy to it and our energy to it, it gets burned down. And they have also shown us that our churches are not exempt from experiencing violence. So that's also why I'd almost redub the church. Like I'd almost kill it all together and give it a new name. I'm not saying they still wouldn't come and try. I'm not saying that those Klansmen wouldn't still come with their crosses. Ironically, y'all burn crosses talking about, like, again, the irony of y'all being Christian with such hatefulness still in your mouth. Like, I don't understand the ability to be able to have one mouth and still say two different things. Like, it confuses the fuck out of me. But I see you, spirits. I see you. So anyway, I pray that that's the direction that our churches can move into. But if we offer them that literacy, that help and push towards that financially, they would still also need competency checks in their reading abilities. Yes. And I don't think people are willing to sit down and really show where they're lacking there, if I'm honest. Like, because again, you can tell people aren't comprehending this book they keep telling us to read. They're not comprehending it.
We need to stop that. And we need to stop. And this one thing I would say, back to your 401k, you just getting it right here. A lot of people might hear that, be like, what? You didn't get a 401k? Why did you have a 401k when you was 20? We got to stop that shit, Black people. Like, we got to stop shaming people for what they don't know, because there is a gap. There's a literacy gap. I didn't know how to invest. Matter of fact, God rest his soul, Uncle Stash, man, Craig Hamilton, was the one that got me on investment. Older white gentleman. He was like, hey, man, you need to be doing this. This is how you make money. This is all during COVID, man. He was just training me like, hey, man, if you really get this, man, then you can get at least an 8 to 10% return on your money. I didn't know about that. But after doing it, I'm like, yo, why isn't everybody doing this? Because I didn't know. I grew up in a household where like food insecurity was a thing. That's why I can speak to it so passionately, because I knew how it was living up in the food desert. There was only one grocery store in my whole neighborhood. And if you lived like 10, 15 miles away from that, you either had to walk or get a ride to that grocery store or go to the corner store. Like there wasn't no fresh fruits and vegetables at the corner store. You know what you had? You had luncheon meat and some light bread and some cheese, and you made sandwiches. You thugged it out. You got 25 cents honey buns. You know why? Because we subsidize sugar and make that cheaper. So, if you're trying to survive and I only got $125 of food stamps and I ain't got no damn grocery store near me, guess what I'm eating? Whatever is near me. But people don't think about that. Like, we don't think about how this led to that. So Black people, stop trying to like, oh, I know more than you. No, dude. If your brother don't know this or know how to invest, teach him. Like, hey, man, look, if you got a 401k match and you getting 6%, at least match 6% because that's free money. Do that. Like, stop with the, oh, you can't read. Well, let me show you how to read, dog. That's one thing about me growing up, not smallest violin in the world. I have ADHD and dyslexia. I was always told I was stupid. Until I realized and I got away from that, I wasn't stupid. It was just around stupid people who didn't know how to convey information to me. So it's just like, yo, dog, stop this shit. Okay, you didn't know? Well, let me put you on game now.
This is where I pause to say, as teachers, and you've been a teacher, so you understand, the prayer is that the person will listen to you when you teach and trying to teach them anyway. And so I feel like even at the core of what Christians would be trying to say, spewing the gospel and trying to get people to hear the good news, whether they'll receive it or not, it would be teaching people financial literacy, literary competency, whether they want to hear it or not. Like the messages would have to change, like from the inside out.
True.
And again, for us as Black people, like we were held back from reading for a long time. Like we weren't allowed to write or read. Like there's X's for where people's signatures are supposed to go. So to even be able to read now is, a miracle for our ancestors. They prayed for this, but like now we need to be able to fully show that we understand what we're reading, that we're competent beyond, but then also, again, we were also trained from the get up. Like we had to be 2 times better, 2 times faster. We were already taught this. Like we're not new to the struggle. It's just time to pull us all together to do it, which is always the hardest part. Like we are very bad at organizing sometimes. Very bad at it. I'm just saying, and it's honest. That's just real.
No, we are. We are bad at organizing. And that's why I said in the podcast, I struggle to actually know what black solidarity looked like, right? Because, my dating choices, Dr. Umar look at me and be like, nope, you can't be part of the Black. I'm like, yo, no, dude, like Black solidarity is going to have to look way different than we think it is. And you're going to have some imperfect allies, right? Like once again, I can look at Dr. Umar's rhetoric and say, all right, man, I agree with some of that, but you know one thing I'm not going to do, give him any money because it's already proven that he can't handle that. So like, your position ain't telling me what to do with my money, right? Like maybe John Hope Bryant can tell me what to do with my money, but Dr. Umar, you can't do that, dude. So it's just knowing your role and knowing that you're going to have imperfect allies. Like even with my white counterparts, man, I would never say that like, every white person is racist. Man, there's some great white people out there, and we need to start learning about the white people who helped during the Civil Rights Act, which miraculously get forgotten. Like, there's a lot of white people out there that gave their lives too. Like even during the slavery, the Quakers. So, but it's one of those things we don't know, and you got to ask yourself, why don't you know about the guys who are abolitionists, right? You know about Abraham Lincoln, right? But you don't know about the guys who's out there on the Underground Railroad. It had to be white people involved. Yeah. Why don't you know those people, right? So I don't know. I just want to say, love you, sis. Thank you for, because I depend on you to let me know if I'm getting something wrong. And a lot of religious people heard that podcast and it was like, well, Marcus, what gives you the right to say that and you're not a Christian? And I'm like, because I'm Black and I'm in America.
Nah, because they be looking for that Christian allyship to be the benchmark for like, no, I can listen to you because we believe in the same shit. And it's like, if we cannot listen from other vessels, we are doomed. Like, I just need us to understand that as a whole. But I don't know how else to say that message any louder than I already do. So I just continue on as a teacher trying to change the thoughts of my students before I let them go. Like, that's all I can do. So just change the world from where you're at, Marcus, and just keep triggering them because people need to be offended, the church especially, because it's been going in a circle for a very long time. And if, again, you being called out on you being the snake eating its tail is making you mad, then welcome to the chat. Because we've been mad for a while. It's time that you felt more angry about this. So yeah, let's get the literacy for them out there. I don't know how yet. We can keep cooking on it in the future. But yeah, you're onto something. I think you're onto something at least. Maybe I'm biased.